Mr. Chair, it looks like we have all committee members present except for Amobian whenever you're ready to start.
All right, I'd like to call the Rules Committee meeting to order. I need a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, good. All in favor, please let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. And were we live when you did the roll call? Okay, very, very good. Thank you. All right, I'm going to ask Madam Clerk if she would please read in our legislation here.
Item number 0 is offered by Mayor Horrigan and Councilwoman Holland. Resolution expressing opposition to HB number 327, a bill introduced in the Ohio General Assembly to prohibit school districts, community schools, STEM schools, and state agencies from teaching, advocating, or promoting divisive concepts, as it further discriminates and targets Black, Brown, and LGBTQIA+ individuals by attempting to block important conversations and debates, especially in our educational institutions, expressing appreciation to Equality Ohio for its work to identify and research legislation that will negatively impact our most vulnerable communities, and declaring an emergency.
Okay, and again, this was introduced by
Mayor Horrigan and Councilwoman Holland.
Okay, very good. Would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I am here today to speak in opposition of House Bill 327. This bill actually negates all of the work that we've done on the Racial Equity Social Justice Task Force. It also negates the work that we're doing on infant mortality that provides targeted care for Black infants. And it just really, it's more of it's an attack on the First Amendment, to be honest. It's also more like a communist nation. So it's telling us what we can and cannot speak about, taking books out of libraries and saying that we cannot conversate about the history that brought this nation to where it is today. And so we are in opposition of this bill. There are several other organizations and cities across the state of Ohio that is in opposition, because it's really saying that we cannot talk about critical race theory, which is really a class within colleges. Critical race theory is a class in colleges, but to say that governments, libraries, schools cannot teach about what actually happened in history is negating the things that happened to Black, Brown individuals and to those that identify as gay and lesbian or transgender. And so we are in opposition of this legislation.
Okay, very good. Questions or comments from anyone in chambers? Yes, Ms. Connor?
As a person who's also faced some limitations and inequities, I strongly support this. One of the rules of a public school, it is public. It is made up of everyone that encompasses our city, and it should remain that way.
Comments, questions from anyone else? Okay, what are the wishes of the committee?
Oh, Mr. Chair, Councilwoman Holland has her hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon, Ms. Holland. I didn't see you over there on the screen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to say that I applaud Mayor Horrigan in being the original author and sponsor of this resolution, which I so happily join and co-sponsor. House Bill 327 once again invites the good people of the state of Ohio to overlook a very fundamental truth, which is that the client of our public education system is not the Ohio General Assembly. It is not the body politic. The client of public education is our society. And by proposing to limit the truth and the history of our beautiful country and our beautiful state and our city to a particular agenda that would seek to exclude an important part of our past and indeed limit our future we're really stepping out of our lane. And I'm so proud of this resolution and so proud to be part of a city that understands what's important, and join my colleagues' earlier comment and encourage all of my colleagues to wholeheartedly join this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holland. Anyone else have comments? And I did have a question. Get my computer back up here. When they put this together, this language, divisive concepts, was there ever because, and I'll admit, the whole critical race theory, I've not read enough, I don't know enough. It's, and then they tie the LGBTQ thing to it. It's confusing for me, but what did they say divisive concepts are?
So divisive concepts are actually for cities, states, classrooms to actually talk about slavery. So to bring up the actual conversation of slavery and that it actually happened.
Okay. So, and again, this is for my education, because I came up through Akron Public Schools. I was very aware slavery was taught was wrong. What is, and just help me understand, what is the continued teaching or the additional teaching?
So some of the additional teaching is just, they're talking, what I have read in some of the books is that it's just trying to take out the fact that you talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and talk about the fact that racism still exists. And so that when you talk about racism, it makes some people feel uncomfortable, and some people feel that that is divisive, even though when it's actually a true and real thing. And so because those people that feel uncomfortable don't want to talk about it anymore, they call it divisive, and they want to take it out of the schools, out of our libraries, out of our government. And so that's where I personally feel that that is, violating the First Amendment and is teetering on the border of communism.
Yeah, and we're not talking about an old history here. We're talking about something that's only 140 years back.
Yeah.
So, okay, very good. Thank you. Thanks for that explanation. Any other comments?
Mr. Chair, Councilwoman Holland has her hand raised.
Oh, okay, yes, Ms. Holland, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it's important to note, too, as stated in the preamble of this resolution, that on its face, House Bill 327 does not distinguish between kindergartners and college students, that this is a far-reaching, overreaching effort to slice out a significant portion of established American history and truth, and seeks to place a muzzle on the role of education and educators, and is, in that respect, clearly overreaching and inappropriate. Thank you.
So, as I understand your comments, they're saying 327 as it's written, we'll just take grade school out of it for the moment. We're talking junior high, high school, no definitions put on that whatsoever?
I'm sorry,
okay.
Sir, could you repeat? I can't quite catch you. Maybe
okay,
a little
I think I just picked up an answer. Thank you. I just had a question about 327. It does not say, okay, first to sixth grade. It's all reaching up into what, high school?
It makes no distinction. It addresses all public education in the state of Ohio.
Okay, thank you.
And if I can add, it's not just public education. It's also talking about our public libraries. It's also talking about our government, so public municipal political subdivisions. So the city of Akron can no longer talk about or offer trainings on diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Okay.
It's telling us what we can and can't do.
Okay. Okay, very good. Mr. Fusco.
Yeah, I would ask ask the clerk here. I see here we're going to be sending a copy of this to the Ohio General Assembly. Is that right? I'd also ask that perhaps we send a copy to County Council and to some of our sister cities that like the large 8. The mayors and the councils may already be aware of it, but I think drawing more attention to this and getting more eyes on this may help in terms of making sure that this doesn't go forward. From what I understand, it's just introduced at this time.
So It has had several hearings.
Okay.
In the House of Representatives, and I believe it's scheduled for a vote this week. I'm not for sure, but I know that it is on its way, possibly to the floor in the House of Representatives and headed over to the Senate.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. But I would ask that we would suspend the rules on this due to the sense of urgency, and that we also forward it to other entities, even though it may be a little late in the game if there's going to be a vote this week, but it's still to draw attention, more attention, because I know there has been some articles about this. So, yeah, I would like to ask, and consider that a motion, please, for suspension of the rules of the favorable report.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, very good.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we have any other business to come before us? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Our next committee of the day will be the Budget and Finance Committee. That will begin at 3 o'clock. Those committee members are Freeman, Amobian, Malik, Baylor, and Lombardo. Again, that's Budget and Finance that will begin at 3 o'clock. Thank you.